Hello, everybody. This is Tom Randall again from GoldenCare. Want to thank you for jumping on this webinar today. I've got my brother in arms, Dennis Rinner, on the call with us. Dennis is out in Michigan, but Dennis is with GoldenCare. You all know him very well. Dennis, go ahead and say hi if you'd like.
Hey, everyone. How's it going today?
Good. All right. Well, tell you what, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these intro screens. We got a lot of great stuff to go through today. Obviously, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't tell you. If you're not with GoldenCare already, I'm sure most of you on this call are, but get appointed with us. Go to our website up there. You see on the screen, GoldenCareAgent.com. We're proud of the fact that Dennis and I have the top marketing team, I believe, in the country behind us here at GoldenCare. They do a great job of supporting you and helping you out, and they can get you started as well. So if you have any questions at any time about anything, you give us a call at that number at the top of your screen, 800-842-7799, and let our team of crack marketers, most of them have been here for years and years and years, talk to you about how we can help you in the trenches. And today we're really proud of the fact that we're going to be talking about OmniFlex short-term care and the essential care product, Wellaby Essential Care and Essential Care Plus, and our other short-term care products that we have. If I can get my screen to play nice here. And, you know, it's really important. If you guys know me, I say it all the time. I'm very passionate about what I do. I've been doing this with GoldenCare for a long time, and we know out there those stats never change. Those needs never change. 70% of Americans over age 65 and 90% of couples out there are going to require some type of care. And unfortunately, 90% of them have never had the conversation. And, you know, the stats after COVID just kind of knock your socks off about how people are scared to death to go into nursing homes, et cetera. But the key I'm trying to get through is we have to make sure that we do our job as agents and we go out and help as many Americans as we can, because it's critical that we do that. Because if you do any of the math out there, most of you on this call already know it, Medicare, Medicaid, they're getting stretched. Everything's in trouble as far as trying to help with all the gray hair in America and those baby boomers getting older. We need to find solutions for these people. And this short-term care plays a huge part of it. And I'm going to let Dennis take over because he's a master of this, talking about the shifting market. So Dennis, if you don't mind, why don't you lead into that as we go here?
Tom, you know, you hit on those important stats, and it's interesting because the marketplace, as we go back, and some who've been in the business as long as you and I have, we've seen the growth in the long-term care space, and then suddenly we've seen this shift. And the shift really became very evident because agents and consumers finally got aligned on the same page, where they both felt as though, you know, the demand has not gone away, as you've indicated. I mean, we're still in the problem-solving business, but unfortunately, when we look at some of the traditional solutions and even some of the hybrid solutions, what we find is that there is more underwriting associated with those particular solutions, and consumers and agents are looking for products today that have less underwriting, that are less complicated, and quite frankly, are less costly. And so as this shift has taken place, it's been amazing to see the growth in these short-term care products. And we saw the run-up for many years in the long-term care, and I think what you're going to see here is another run-up. It's more or less, for Tom and I, kind of a second bite at the apple to have the opportunity to see the tremendous growth. And this market is going to continue to get bigger and bigger, and there'll be more carriers. And so the carriers we're going to spotlight today are just the initial carriers. And GoldenCare, we're committed to that. We're committed to making sure that we're a resource to you. And we have certain carriers that we've been very instrumental in working with and helping in terms of the development of these products. And we know that this is that you'll really appreciate this information today, because we're really spotlighting kind of the marketplace. So Tom, back to you.
You bet. You bet. Thanks, Dennis. And again, today we have the Wellaby product up there, the Essential Care and Essential Care Plus. It's because Wellaby is the newest jump in the market, and we're really excited about this plan. And we think it's going to add a really nice extra touch. We've got the GTL Recover Cash plan that we've loved for a long time, and you know, Aetna's out there. We're really excited. If any of you have been on our webinars about OmniFlex, obviously the Manhattan Life product, we know that that's going to be a real strength in the market as well. But the reason we put this the way it is that we wanted to make sure you caught your eye with that Wellaby product, because that is new, and we want people to realize that it's got so many nice little touches to it. I think it's going to be a great addition to our portfolio here at GoldenCare. and in relation to that, obviously, to your portfolio as well. So, quick introduction to Wellaby. We do full trainings on this. We had Kelly Rayburn on doing a full training talking about how this product works and moves, and we won't be able to go into detail on every part of it today, but as we talk about it, you're going to see some of the real strengths with it. And with our OmniFlex, we have two-tiered underwriting, and they have really close to the same thing here, which is great. The Essential Care Plus is their full benefit plan. The Essential Care is their partially limited plan, and you're going to see later that it's a little bit stronger benefit-wise than what we can do with the OmniFlex limited plan as far as daily benefits. So that's a nice strength of this plan as well, because we all know these are working around underwriting, et cetera. So we have tools to help you through that as well, as we'll talk about in a few minutes. But the nice thing about this is a great couples business, and you're going to see as we go through in this short webinar today, talking about the limited benefit rider, which is a first in the industry, the way this is positioned with Wellaby, and you're going to love that, because that uninsurable spouse is always one of those things agents hit their head against the wall saying, boy, I wish I could get it, but I just can't get dad insured at all, so they're going to wait. Where with this one, we do have a nice little limited benefit rider with Wellaby. So we'll talk more about that as well. Dennis, you're going to have to do your job and jump in whenever you feel like it, but I'll just keep rolling here, and we'll be pivoting back and forth. A lot of you know me, know that I get on a roll sometimes, and I forget to pass over the baton. But product availability, this is obviously just the start. This is the first states that they did in their initial release. You can see there on this map, there's 10 states already, and they're going to have more coming out, and they usually do it like most carriers. They'll batch them up, and as they get approved, and they'll probably release them in batches of 5 or something. So this is obviously just the beginning. And if you love bright colors, this map obviously shows you the product availability of all 4 products we're going to talk about today, but mainly stressing our main products, the GTL Recover Cash, availability, really wide reach there, obviously. You can see there in the blue, and then Aetna Recovery Care, that's a big availability because those have been around longer. OmniFlex, we're glad to say, has already got a nice reach. How many states are we at now, Dennis? Are we up to 29 or 30?
Well, actually, we just added Hawaii, so we're in 31 states.
31 states, great. So 31 states with Omni. Hawaii is probably not even on this list yet. That was just announced yesterday. So good news there. This map will be changing. And then down there with Wellaby again, and don't be disheartened. Wellaby is obviously just getting started, so it'll expand out and probably be pushing 30 plus states as well. So lots of different colors there, but again, we have this available just so we can really quickly in-house see what are available in most states. And the nice thing, remember our overall portfolio, I would be remiss to tell you, we know those states are out there. If you look at the map there, boy, there's California, Florida, nobody's playing nice, right? There's Minnesota, and out east, we have several states that just haven't jumped on the short-term care bandwagon. And just make a mental note, we're not going to talk about it today, but we do have a plan that will help people in all 50 states, because we have that True Freedom prepaid home care plan available that is available in all 50 states. So if you're interested and you're hanging out doing a lot of business in one of those, we call them the weird states, if you're out there, remember we do have a solution at GoldenCare to help you out. All right, let's jump in full blower. Dennis, you want to take this first screen? You can go ahead, and we'll kind of switch back and forth.
The great thing about these short-term care products, and we like to call them extended care solutions, is that if you can look at across the from OmniFlex to Essential Care Plus, Essential Care, Recover Cash, Recovery Care, you can see that we have very low issue ages, 45, 40, 40, and age 50. But the nice thing is they all go up to that upper age market. Back 15 plus years ago, we were writing people who were 72, 75, even into their 80s. And with the short-term care, as Tom said a little bit earlier, with more of a wider underwriting opportunity, we're going to be able to go back and start writing again a lot of those folks in the senior markets. And what you'll see is that from a broad design format, they all work pretty much the same. And the great news is they're not reimbursement. These are indemnity-based. They're full cash benefits. And so you can see that we'll go through and we'll talk a little bit about some of the separation points as we go a little bit further on into some of the next visuals that Tom's going to share with us.
You bet. And just to add on to that indemnity, if there's anybody new on the phone who just haven't got their arms around this, remember the power of indemnity. What that means is if you have care, you hit the claim triggers, obviously, but if you have care on any given day or whether it's a week, however the company handles them, you get the full indemnity benefit regardless of if Medicare is paying, anybody else is paying. These are paid out over and above any other type of insurance you might have in place. So I just wanted to make sure you know the power of the indemnity on its own. And again, Dennis, I don't know if you want to jump there or
Go ahead,
I can
Tom.
take this. Okay, basically these pay facility and home health care benefits, all the policies do that. I do want to throw a shout out, first one on Wellaby. If you go back to the previous screen, I can see there that is a home health care base with a rider for facility, which is kind of nice. And you might see sometimes that that's going to be a plus for you because you can sell a home health care only plan with some really, really definitive nice benefits if you don't want to do that with essential care. And when I say essential care, just one more disclaimer, remember the way they do their underwriting, they have Essential Care Plus, which is their full plan, and Essential Care, and then the limited benefit rider that goes along with one of those. We have Essential Care up there, but remember they call this kind of the Essential Care series when they put out some of their marketing stuff. So remember, I'm talking about Essential Care Plus and Essential Care with these slides. So that being said, I'll get off that soapbox and go down to the bottom. You can see there, PACE facility and home health care benefits provides full benefit for the home health aid. That's just to point out the difference between those policies out there that we love, love, love. Don't get me wrong, Manhattan Life, GTL, they got some great home health care only plans, but what's the difference? They throw the net super wide. They cover just about everybody, and we love that because we want to help more people. But in order to do that, of course, they have to protect the carrier, and they'll limit the home health aid benefit a little bit on the number of days they'll pay for that. We all know the home health aid is the most common type of care you get. So that's one of the big strengths of a full-blown comprehensive short-term care plan, that you have facility coverage plus you have full coverage for that home health aid, which people use at claim time. Okay? Zero-day elimination just means these policies aren't like long-term care. If you're in the crowd and you have your long-term care hat on, you might want to take that off or turn it sideways a little bit, because with these short-term care plans, one of the biggest things we have to get over is obviously they're not short-term care, right? Long-term care is the word that we use for tax qualified plans out there, and short-term care plans can be really robust. And some of your clients, and I always hit people with this, some of your clients are going to think short-term care, they'll be educated adults and they'll think, oh, that must be a plan that pays for like 90 days only. Remember the power of short-term care plans. They're called that just because they're not long-term care plans. These policies can be really, really robust. And if you watch any of our training on any of these plans, you'll see that you can get up there and be selling, boy, $250,000, $500,000 policies that will pay a ton of money at claim time and help your clients a lot. So don't get discouraged thinking short-term care is a baby little plan. The nice thing, again, Dennis will correct me if I don't say it myself, they're very, very flexible. So you can turn these plans down and make them super, super affordable for anybody you come across, but you can also turn them up and get a very robust plan. So that's the beauty of short-term care there as well. Okay. So basically the restoration of benefits, again, this is where they're a little bit different. They all offer restoration to some degree. And again, as I'm giving this, I'm just giving the broad spectrum, showing you how these plans work. This is where you get little subtleties when we find niches for different people. And the difference is in the details. All the plans do have the restoration of benefits, but they don't always work the same way. So as an agent, you do need to know the subtle differences so you don't mislead anybody. If you see number one there, OmniFlex works the same as that as recovery care. That's probably the most broad, right? It basically says with short-term care, you use these plans a lot, right, Dennis? You don't need the 90-day qualification at claim time. So you're going to jump in and use this policy for hip replacements, surgeries, recovering from smaller incidents that you wouldn't go on a long-term care claim, but you might go on a short-term care claim. So remember, these policies get used a lot more often at claim time because you don't have the 90 days. You do have the 2 of 6 activities of daily living or the cognitive impairment, but you don't have the 90-day requirement. So I'm going to try to get off my soapbox. I know I get rolling on this, but it's such an important part of these short-term care plans to have the ability to restore benefits, because it really loads that plan back up to give you the potential to be waiting for that big catastrophic claim if it were to happen, and it will help the people more at that point. So OmniFlex and Aetna are the most liberal. Facility and home care benefits can restore multiple times up to the lifetime maximum of 2 times whatever benefit you sold somebody. So if you sold a 360-day plan on the home care and facility, it would restore up to potentially 720 days for both those plans. Make sense? And the other ones, Recover Cash and Essential Care, are great too. They just do the facility benefit restoration, and they'll do one restoration based after your first claim. They'll restore it 1 time up to 2 times max on the facility. Okay. Next one, Dennis, you want to go ahead on this one, talk a little bit about underwriting, because it all starts, you buy these plans, I know nowadays, more with your health than you do with your checkbook. So, Dennis, I don't know if you'd like to cover this a little bit.
Sure. And Tom, I want to just come back and just reiterate a point that you made about restoration, also about the 0 day. And that's one of the reasons why when you start looking at these elimination periods, we see more of our business coming in, certainly with 0 day for the home care, and at most only 20-day elimination on the facility side. And we're starting to see a trend of more 0 day on the facility side, because the difference in the premium is very insignificant compared to what we see with long-term care when we move from a 90-day elimination to a 60 or down to a 30 or even to a 0. So what Tom said is absolutely correct. Everything starts and stops with underwriting. I think behind the underwriting aspect is also state availability. That's why Tom took the opportunity to show you the various states. So you can see that one of the tools that we have available that we won't go through today, that Tom was very instrumental in developing, and our team at GoldenCare kind of took it to the next level, is to look at on the application, every application, look at 45 different conditions. And so you can see across the board here, as far as a limited plan, which is what we call tier 1, or the full benefits, which we call tier 2 with OmniFlex, you can see of the 45, you can begin to see that the higher the number, the more lenient. Essential Care kind of rivals a little bit more of the limited plan with tier 1 with OmniFlex, and then Recover Cash and Recovery Care. Not that these plans, again, there's a niche and there's a place for every product that we have within our menu, but we're just trying to lay it out so that you know that when you're working with that client and you're trying to determine where to go, the first question you're going to ask yourself is, who will take this case? And then the second question is, if I'm in a state like as Tom said, I'm in California, New York, Minnesota, some of those problematic states when it comes to short-term care, you might say, well, gee, it doesn't really matter how limited and how lenient the underwriting is if it's not available. So this is very, very important. And you can see again that those 45 health conditions are just a way that we get smarter. And for those of you that don't write long-term care day in and day out and are now moving into the short-term care, the idea of having a tool that will help you just makes your job a lot easier. And we want to thank, Tom is really, it was more of him being a student of the business to know this for the design purposes, but now it's turned into a full-blown tool that we use and agents have access to as well.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dennis. Yeah. And one of the things I'll bring up here, if you look at Essential Care there, number one, we didn't bring up the limited benefit plan, which literally has like one knockout just saying you're not getting care now or have plans to. So that is obviously a sweeping, that's a rider though, that it goes with one of the plans, the Essential Care Plus. But I do want to point out here on the limited plan, we're going to show you in one of our case studies that we finish up with today that one of the big strengths of Wallaby is that limited plan is pretty robust. It's a little stronger. Remember, the OmniFlex plan limits to $100, where with the Essential Care, it's not quite as liberal as underwriting, but there are some conditions we'll talk about later on that will lean you definitely towards Wallaby, because that's going to be a great option for those people because it has more robust plans if you qualify for that limited plan. So we'll talk about that more in detail later. The next part of this equation, and Dennis, I'll just take over again on this one, the inflation. Inflation is an important part of these plans, not always used. It's always in a rider form that you can choose to do it or not. And this is kind of a nice thing that we see with this plan because of the fact that we're selling to a little bit younger people sometimes. As this starts taking over the market, I think we're going to see more and more of that. So there's some really nice differences here. Aetna, that's one of the things right now it doesn't have is any type of inflation. you can see that as you go across the board, I'll just start on the bottom side there. OmniFlex has 5% simple 2 times max. And remember, we have that 5-year ramp up that is part of that plan that makes it really strong at claim time, but it's a 5-year ramp up to get to your benefit that you sold the person. And then in the 6th year, that simple inflation starts. And it does go to 2 times max, again, to try to keep the pricing down and keep the carrier protected on that plan. So you can choose either none, or you can have the facility and the home health care, which of course includes that first day cash, the Fast 50 benefit. So you can either have none of it or all of it, okay? So one way or the other, you have to have it on facility and home care, which is fine. Essential care goes a step further. Love Essential Care with the 5% simple. On this one, again, it's a rider. You can either choose none, or you can have it on the home health care base plan. Remember, the base is a home health care. Or you can have it on just a facility if you want it, or both. So nice flexibility there with Wellaby. So you're going to see that might be a turning point for some agents and some clients out there. And then Recover Cash, last one that's really strong with them was that they have the 5% simple and that good old 5% compound. Or you can obviously have none if you'd rather have it, but that's on the base only. They don't include it on the home care with the Recover Cash. Okay, so a little bit of subtle differences. Again, our team's here to help you on that. When you ask for a quote, we can steer you in the right direction for which carriers you would maybe fit best, depending on what your clients want as well. But you'll have these slides as a reference, of course, as well. And short-term care, this is the first day access to cash benefits. And if you guys have heard any of our OmniFlex training, we're proud of the fact we helped design this with Manhattan Life, and we've had our mutual background. 70% of our people with mutual long-term care started on cash, and 70% of those stayed on cash. We know people like that. It's the number one objection people have is that they can't have that cash benefit. So I do want to stress that that's a really important part of OmniFlex. It's something we're really proud of having. Recover Cash has done a great job with their new push in GTL, where they have that T-Care family caregiver concierge service. And that has a $3,500 for a certified family member that they can get a one-time $3,500 too. So we love that. I'm going to show a video of that in just a second if it works here. But the Fast 50 again is first day cash benefit at half the benefit that you have available. And again, you can use the cash for anything, but it's perfect for paying spouse, family members, and friends. And again, most of you already know about that benefit because we've hyped that pretty hard since OmniFlex release. So, Dennis, I'm going to try to push this. If my whole computer blows up,
that'd be great. Yeah, it's a short, about a little over 2 minutes, and I think you'll really like the resources available through GTL.
Hi, my name is Ali Ahmadi, CEO of T-Care. About 7 years ago, my wife and I became caregivers to my mother-in-law that was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma cancer. We became aware of this term known as family caregiving. As a former naval aviator, I was trained to navigate myself through extremely hard, difficult situations, and caregiving was one that I found myself lost in. T-Care was born as a solution to help family caregivers navigate all the challenges that they go through when they are taking care of a loved one. We are born out of an academic research project that through 7 years of 2 sets of clinical trials, over 15 years of longitudinal data, led to our algorithms understanding for families what solutions at what time, what place are the most effective to help them. My wife and I thought we needed respite or home care services in our caregiving journey. But when we went through the T-Care algorithms and the process, what the system identified was that we needed marriage counseling because our risk factor to burnout was a toll that caregiving was bringing on our marriage, and that's what had led us to start thinking about placing my mother-in-law into an institutional facility. And so the process of what T-Care works is we engage families, whether the policyholder and the family caregiver, the primary family caregiver, typically spouse, daughter, son. The process to use T-Care is extremely easy. It takes 90 seconds on a web portal or a platform to fill out a form, and through that, one of our social workers and our T-Care specialists connects with those families, and through a 25 to 35 minute consultation process, they help them navigate through all the resources that they need at any given point in time. To receive the TCare Family Caregiver Support Services, it is extremely simple. We are either a phone call or a text message away for families. There's no claims process, there's no adjudication. Families can have access to the TCare benefit starting day one of owning the policy. TCare is here for you and your clients to empower you to bring a family support system so that families don't ever have to be challenged with the burden of caregiving. And they are spending more quality time with their loved ones.
It's a really strong concierge service that helps people right away when you buy the policy. You can start using it, and it does a bang-up job of helping you really through a care situation. Even before the care situation starts, it can help in the planning, etc. So it's a great story, and it's a great add-on, and it includes that $3,500 one-time payment. Sorry,
And
Dennis,
Tom, I might just add that, GTL was the first in the industry to bring TCare to the marketplace, and it is. There's some tremendous resources that will give those caregivers the relief and help them to be pointed in the right direction on all the resources that are available to them. So yeah, hats off to GTL. Great job.
Perfect. Okay, go ahead, Dennis. You're on a roll. Just you can keep going here and do another slide if you want.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about kind of returning to the what we call back to the future, selling back to those 65 plus 70, 75-year-olds. And, both Recovery Care and OmniFlex have with Recovery Care, it's included. With OmniFlex, it's actually a rider. But for those seniors who are 65 and above who have a Medicare Advantage plan, and you're meeting with them on this extended care conversation, you may want to just say, even though you may not specialize in MA plans, but you'll be surprised that if the client, many clients have not bridged that gap or filled that gap in their Medicare Advantage plans with hospital indemnity. And so this is a very easy add-on with OmniFlex, and it's also included with Recovery Care. And you can, there's certainly with GTL, which is the industry leader in hospital indemnity, there's some great standalone plans that are out there, but this is nice to have a little rider that could have either 3, 6, or 20-day benefit period and up to $300 a day. And so it's very, very affordable. You might be able to add this benefit, for example, for only about a little over $21 a month. So it's a great, inexpensive add-on. It also gives people another reason why they made that decision to own an extended care plan through you.
You can keep going, Dennis, if you want.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Tom. One of the things, hospice Medicare typically pays that, but it was a nice little separation. So OmniFlex built that in. And, Tom already talked a little bit about that limited benefit rider for the uninsurable spouse that Essential Care has. And you can see that, again, the hospice OmniFlex is the only carrier that offers that for both home and facility. And so what I do like about Essential Care is we get asked all the time about adult daycare, and we get asked about having a return of premium. And so with the Wellaby product, that's very nice. Wellaby will pay up to $50 a day for 20 visits with an adult daycare. It's a very inexpensive rider. And keep in mind that the average cost for adult daycare nationwide is about $56 a day. So you're pretty much covering almost the entire cost if you decide to add that to your plan. And as Tom indicated earlier, the limited benefit rider is up to $100 a day for 180 days. There is a 90-day elimination, but there's only one knockout question. And so you can see here that whether or not you need to add adult daycare, return of premium, or whether or not you're looking for the hospice benefit, or again, that limited benefit rider, these are, again, trying to uncover the niches so that you're aware, based on what the needs of your clients are, where to go.
You bet. Let's talk discounts, because tell you what, this is where the rubber hits the road. People love discounts in their plans, and this is one of the things that you'll see. We have a lot of married couples out there, obviously. So we have a spousal discount, 10% if both of them get a policy for OmniFlex, 10% same with Recover Cash. Essential Care goes over and above here, 7% if you have another adult living in the house with you, over age 40. I think it's 40 if I remember that right. Over age 40, another adult living in the house, and if you both get a policy or two adults get a policy, it's 14% discount, so very strong there. And they go a step further. This is one of the things we're glad to work with Wellaby to talk about the importance of this, because we have a lot of people out there with the great Med Sup program that they have over there. So over and above that 14% or 7%, they'll do another 5% discount. So when you put all those together, you know, you're pushing 19%. It's like 18.3% discount there if you do the 14% with the 5% after. So very strong discounts. And again, this is one of the areas we'll talk about where you're going to see that Essential Care might be a good option for you as well with the discount. So finally, this prescription drug. I thought we were going into the next slide is the case studies we talked about. But I sure can't short this one. Again, this is tooting our own horn here with OmniFlex. But you remember GTL had such a great job with their home health care only plan that has that prescription drug benefit in there. And we decided that was a heck of a thing to try to copy and put in, because we know a lot of people, especially if they can't get long-term care, have that shoebox full of meds. I think the average for 65 plus in America is 27.3 prescriptions or refills a year. So what happens is you can start out right when you buy this policy, immediately upon issue, you can start keeping track of your prescriptions or refills, and $10 for generic or $25 for brand name, and you can get up to $300 per year back from Manhattan Life or Standard Life from the OmniFlex product. So really, we look at it just kind of as a way to say, look at your net premium overall. You're paying an annual premium or a monthly premium, but if you throw on that, knowing that a lot of people you're selling this product to, they might have that shoebox full of meds or several meds and refills, and they can be pushing close to that 300 or go over that 300. So if they hit $300 per year, that's a huge, huge savings. And even at 200 or 100, it sure adds up. So we're excited about that prescription drug benefit built into the OmniFlex. Every plan has that, the limited or the full. And Dennis, I'm going to turn it over to you as we're going to start talking about, I think we have 5 or 6 little case studies here of different products that might work for somebody. So Dennis, go ahead, and I'll let you take over for David if you'd like, or unless you want me to do it, just yell.
Tom, why don't you go ahead and handle David, and I'll handle the next 2 case studies after that.
You bet. All right, well, we got David here, and again, you can tell Dennis and I, we put this together, and this is the first time we've had the pleasure of giving this webinar. So if you look at Dave, he purchased a long-term care policy a long time ago, and it's got a 90-day elimination. And now he's lived a little bit, he's got a little wiser, and he started realizing that, boy, 90 days might add up to a lot of extra out-of-pocket expense for him at the time of claim. So what David thought is, do you have any way I can change that? And of course, he missed that boat because his health might not have been as good. So we're going to use one of these extended care or short-term care products to try to help Dave out. And basically, in this case, we just use OmniFlex instead. And you could use really any of the plans, but we just used OmniFlex for this example. And if we did a 0-day elimination period for both the facility and the optional home care, and you can see here, this is actually like a limited plan for OmniFlex. Maybe $100 is all he could handle health-wise. If that was the case, this would still fit. So if we did him a $100 plan, you can see there, and I'll just tell you the price on this. It's Michigan rate if he's a male. It's unisex rate, so it doesn't matter. But at 65 years old, if Dave couldn't get anything on the long-term care side or anything to correct it, if he's sitting out there as a non-tobacco at $100 per day, 90-day benefit period with first day coverage for the elimination to help cover that out-of-pocket for his long-term care plan, that plan right there with the home care at $100 is only $21.55 a month. So very, very, very affordable, and it's something that we can go out there and show that it might be a perfect solution for him to feel better about that elimination and have some extra bucks to cover it. Dennis, I don't think I need to show the full quote on this. If you guys want the full quotes, we have all those here, and I won't even go over there, but it'll show the full quote for you if you're interested. Go ahead.
Hey, Tom.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks. And just a couple things on the David illustration that Tom just ran through, how affordable it is with $100. But amazingly enough, if David could qualify for that tier 2 and get up to $300, that tier 1 $100 is still $9,000 for facility and $9,000 for home care. That's a great way to bridge that gap for the out-of-pocket cost. And I'm telling you, I really believe that there's referral opportunities, not only for you going back to all of your existing long-term care clients who may be in the same situation as David, wondering about that 90-day elimination, but also their friends who you didn't sell long-term care to. But that $300 a day moves it up to about $57 a month, and now you're talking $27,000 for facility and the same amount for home health care. So, Tom, I think that is certainly a great way to find a niche. And it's something that I think is often overlooked about going back to existing clients who you think already have solved this problem.
Absolutely, Dennis. And since he brought up that 300, I totally agree with what Dennis was saying, because again, take that long-term care hat and turn it sideways or take it off, because world of difference with these plans on what you can qualify for compared to a long-term care plan. So David might have had his ship sail as far as upgrading his benefits for long-term care, but there's a really good chance he could get almost any one of these plans, but especially OmniFlex or Essential Care for the broad underwriting that they have, where they could get a full-blown plan. So he could go up to $300 per day or even more, up to $400 potentially, and not break his bank, and he might be just happy as can be if that's the case. So in this example, the $21 was if he his health was really bad and he couldn't even get beyond the limited plan. So anyway, good job, Dennis. I appreciate you bringing that up. Go ahead and take Barbara here, Den.
Yeah, you bet. And this is an example with these case studies about how powerful it is to have those shorter eliminations. If you notice on the David example, both of those on the facility and the home care were 0 day. So here's what we're going to do with Barbara. Barbara's another example of just trying to buy the most robust short-term care plan that she could get. So we're using Omni again as our example here, where on the facility side, she's going to buy up to $400 a day. We're going to use the full 360-day benefit period, unlike in the David example where we trimmed it down to just satisfy that 90-day elimination that he had with his long-term care policy. We're going to also put a 20-day elimination for Barbara on the facility, and then on the home care, the most we can buy is $300 a day, and we'll do a 0-day elimination. So again, from a benefit standpoint, Barbara has just purchased on the facility side $400 a day, which is $12,000 a month, $144,000 of coverage, and the home care side, she has an additional $300 a day, or $9,000 a month, or $108,000. So you're talking about over $250,000 for under, or approximately about $2,000 a year. That is just, Tom, that's so affordable. And yet, again, because of the underwriting, it's a tremendous opportunity to offer these particular plans. And so back to you.
Guys. Yep. You know what? And I'm going to take the time to do this because I love Mutual, and you guys know we buttered our bread with Mutual of Omaha Long-Term Care for a long, long time. And that plan that we just showed for Barbara that he talked about, that robust plan with the $250,000 potentially per claim, for one claim potentially, literally with restoration, it could be twice that, but $250,000. Again, a little bit different thing. It's not total apples to apples, but here's Barbara in Michigan, single female, 65 years old, $10,000 a month benefit, not $12,000 like we had on the facility, and $9,000 for home care. $250,000 pool of money. So that's one pool of money, $250,000 with a 30-day and first day coverage. We did a 20-day and first day coverage. So apples to apples there, pretty close. Check this out. Instead of $193, and I say if because I've been doing this a long time, if Barbara can get through the underwriting at 65 as a female, she's still paying $600 a month. Compared to 193, so a third of the amount she's paying. So anyway, that's the power of these plans, that you can get a lot of bang for your buck, and it can really knock your socks off sometimes, showing you the differences with even traditional long-term care. So Dennis, anything else to add on that, or we can go ahead?
That's perfect, Tom. That's a great, and that's why I talked a little earlier about not only having less underwriting, less complicated with the moving parts, but less costly. You just illustrated that as far as the cost savings.
Yeah,
So,
you bet.
So why don't I take John here? This is a great example of where the GTL Recover Cash comes into play. John's part of the sandwich generation. He's raising his own children, but he's also caring for aging parents. We know this happens an awful lot. And so having gone through some of those difficulties of being a caregiver himself, he did not want to delay, planning ahead for his own situation. And, he in particular liked what GTL had with their Recover Cash, that $3,500 one-time cash benefit, and also those T-Care caregiving resources that we talked about. So look at this, where the plan that was designed for John was a $200 a day benefit, a 360-day benefit period, 20-day elimination, and on the home care side, bought up to not their complete maximum, but pretty darn close, because with GTL, you can go up to $1,400 a week. So in this example, we're just showing $1,200 for 52 weeks with no elimination. But here's the kicker. And this is really, I think, where GTL really shines. That 5% compound inflation. Look at that premium, how affordable that is.
Yep.
I'm telling you, if Tom would have went back into that Mutual of Omaha example and changed it from Barbara to John and showed how high 5% compound inflation is with traditional long-term care, and it's not just with Mutual, it's with any of the carriers today, or really any of the hybrids, this is an extremely affordable plan for John, and he's got a benefit that's going to increase at 5% compound. That benefit's going to double every 15 years. So just imagine by the time John is claim age, let's say 75, that benefit has gone up exponentially.
Right, and I don't want to mislead there. We probably should change that slide, Lynn, if you're still on, and let's add in the part by the inflation, because we showed the daily benefit amount of the $34.27 for the Recover Cash. We showed the home care at $46.76, and then the 5% inflation on the facility is $61.82. So after the policy fee, it's $144.95 total premium for that one, for a monthly premium. So I don't want to mislead anybody. I know on our slide, it didn't show over here. We'll put that dollar amount here for inflation. So just want to make sure we weren't misleading.
But Tom, if you go back to that proposal for a quick second, that $61 cost for the 5% compound is ridiculously inexpensive. And in today's marketplace, where at best in the traditional world we sell 3% compound, we don't even sell 5% because it's so cost prohibitive. So this is still a tremendous value when you start looking today at John being able to get that type of a plan for $144.95.
You bet. Nice highlighting, huh? All right, let's go back to the slide there. There's John. We're going to move on to the next one. That's one of those examples that it might be great to go over and use GTL for that one. I got a couple we're going to finish up with recovery with Essential Care, and there's some good ones here. I'll take this first one, Dennis, if you want. Joseph had a TIA about 18 months ago, and he's wanted to obtain coverage, but he's going to find it really difficult. As you know, with any of these full-blown short-term care plans, he's not going to be able to get the full coverage from any of those policies up there. But I tell you what, he could go in and get the Essential Care, which is the limited plan for both OmniFlex and for the Wellaby product. And remember, I talked earlier about the fact that you get a little bit more robust benefits with the limited plan. So a TIA is an example, and you'll see from our InstaPivot tool, there's a few different instances where they won't qualify for any of the comprehensive full short-term care at the top benefits, the full benefits, but they'll qualify for OmniFlex and they'll qualify for the Essential Care plan. And in those examples, you're going to really want to look closely at Essential Care, because I'll tell you what, we have a $100 max on the OmniFlex, and with Wellaby, there's a $150 max on the home care and $250 max on the facility. So for Joe here, we could go out and give him great peace of mind by using male 62 rate, single non-tobacco, $150 home care for a full year with a 20-day elimination, and $250 facility care for the full time. And with that one, it's $178.34 per month. And that's being single. Remember the power with the way Wellaby's set up. Sorry to stumble over my words, but if he happened to be married and he had a med sup, remember now you're pushing that 19%, 18.3% discount. You could get that $178 down to $145 plus, so $145.70. So again, really nice, robust plan, and nothing like buying this with your checkbook or with your health instead of your checkbook, right? This is the best option you'd have for that person who wants more robust benefits, but he had a TIA, and all the companies are going to turn their back on him because they just don't dare make that move. But we have a great little niche here for essential care or OmniFlex. Okay. All right. I'm going to move on from that one. Finding the niche, Gene and Mary. Now this one is, I'll go ahead and take it, Dennis, if that's okay. Gene and Mary were out there, and they do like a lot of people. They're looking to get care, and they put it off, and they're out there, and suddenly they say, you know what? All of a sudden, poor Gene gets a car accident, and his recovery had been long and challenging, and Mary has tried to help do everything she could. She knows that if something ever happened to her, that their daughter's going to have to kind of move home or help out in a big, big way. And she was really scared about having something happen where both her and Gene needed care simultaneously. So she started looking into solutions, talked to a great advisor like you, and they found that, you know what, Wellaby's essential care plan, they could get really basic benefits for Gene because he's literally at the point of being uninsurable, right? He's at the point where they know they're probably not going to get him through, and he's got to get through the one question. And I think in this case, we'll say he's doing okay and he can get through that limited care, that limited benefit plan. But if you look at this plan out there in Texas, let's say that Mary is 65. We can give her a really nice, strong $300 home health care plan. So if she needs help, she's got some solid benefits. She can get the $200 facility with the 20-day elimination for a full year. And with this plan, let's say there's limited benefit. The limited benefit rider for Gene is doable. And in that case, that plan, she could end up getting it. I think the premiums on this one, we kind of threw this in later on, and we want to make sure we give a correct. I believe the premiums for this one's about $230 a month. So Dennis, I'll let you walk them through this, the limited benefit rider. We were really glad the way this worked out. It can't be a standalone plan because everybody would jump on the adverse selection. But this as a rider is a super, super, super great head turner. And Dennis, I'll turn it over to you and let you talk a little bit about the power of it. Doesn't look huge compared to Essential Care and Essential Care Plus, but it's got a lot of power for an uninsurable spouse. That's for sure. You want to hit that?
Maxed out, I can hear you now. So if you maxed out the 180-day benefit period with a 90-day elimination, this is a graded benefit. So in year one, the client would have access to 25% of the benefit. Year two, 50% of the benefit. In year three, 100%. But again, when you are looking at an uninsurable spouse and there's not a lot of hope for that spouse, we know what happens, as Tom indicated earlier, that the healthy spouse says, well, if Mary can't have it or if John can't have it, then I don't want it. So the healthy spouse always tends to bail when they don't feel there's a solution for the unhealthy spouse. So this is a great limited benefit rider. You know, about 70% of the business that we've written historically with long-term care has been couples business. So I think you're going to have tremendous opportunity to find a place for this limited benefit rider with those uninsurable spouses with Wellaby.
You bet. All right, Dennis, you know what? I'm sure a lot of you had questions. We went over our time here. So I'm going to address the questions after the fact, and we'll get that sent out to you. If there's some that are really pertinent, that we missed something, that we see that there's a big trend, we'll make sure we get that information out to everybody who attended today. But that being said, I know we're past our 45-minute mark. That's easy to see why that would happen with both Dennis and myself on here. And we're so excited about these products. We really hope you can see that we think this industry is going to change a lot because that need is never going away. But the need for protection is so important for agents like you to go out and help people. And I'll tell you what, we're glad of the fact that we've got a full portfolio of products that are going to help you, including obviously the OmniFlex, the Essential Care, and the GTL plan, as well as a lot of home health care only plans and that True Freedom plan. So we've got something that can help pretty much anybody you're sitting in front of, and the more people you help, the better success you'll have in the long run. So unless Dennis wants the final parting words, I'm going to say this is Tom Randall, and I do want to tell you thank you so much for taking your valuable time to listen to us today, and we'll get these slides out to you and a link to that video. Dennis, anything to say in finishing up?
No, thank you, everyone. And just again, just remember that this menu is going to continue to increase. Right now, we're talking about these 4, but who knows what we'll be talking about a year from now or 2 years from now. But you've got tremendous opportunity, and I think each of these products have a place. And so just go out there and keep swinging. Thanks much.
All right, absolutely. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
GoldenCare is always here to serve you with new tools, new products, new ideas, and new innovations, and always the best support in the business to help you succeed. So give us a call at 800-842-7799 and check out our website at www.goldencareagent.com.